Yeah, I know I haven't uploaded in like 2 weeks, but my excuse is that this is a secondary channel to do other what ifs that I may not do as well on the main channel. Anyways, I started making my own thumbnails. The one that you're seeing right now is made by yours truly. But enough stalling. On to the what if. Now, when Naruto was born, he had a unique mixture of chakra natures. He had water, wind, and earth release. He would have gained the wind and water release from his parents directly, but the earth release affinity was a recessive gene he gained from his father's side of the family. These chakra natures ended up merging together to create a rare Kagitata. It was incredibly difficult to gain or use this Kagitata as it not only required for you to be born with three nature releases but also have a substantial amount of chakra in order to use it effectively. Something capable of mass destruction. No one would know how powerful the boy would become in the years to become. Now, most of Naruto's life was not of mistreatment by the villagers until he reached the age of 6. One day he figured enough was enough. He didn't try to run away from the villagers this time around and try to fight back. He was getting beat down though. Suddenly he felt a tingle in his hands, and the sensation only ever continued to increase until his hands were visibly shaking. He didn't know what was going on. He grabbed the nearest villager to him and tried to push them. He hoped that they would at least lose their balance a little, giving Naruto enough time to escape. He realized midway through that trying to fight a bunch of fully grown men wasn't the smartest decision. Something unexpected happened though. The villager exploded right before everyone's eyes. Naruto looked back at his hands that weren't shaking as much anymore. He was confused. What did he just do? He was in a state of shock. He refused to believe he just killed a man simply by touching them. He looked around and saw the look of horror on everyone's face. They called him a freak, a demon from the depths of hell. They all tried to get away from Naruto in fear of what the boy would do to them as well. They didn't want to die after all. Naruto tried to chase a couple of them in hopes that they could help, but a couple of the Jonin appeared and grabbed Naruto. The boy tried to fight them. He kicked and screamed alongside, waving his arms around. Under normal circumstances, even a lowly Genin would be enough to restrain the boy, but with this weird ability of his, as soon as one of his hands made contact with a Jonin restraining him, their organs were the only thing to remain of them. The other Jonin saw this and had looks of horror on their faces. Naruto was panting heavily. He'd never felt so tired before. He didn't understand why. He also didn't understand why everything he seemed to touch all of a sudden blew up. He was confused and scared. He didn't ask for this curse. He just wanted to be accepted by the rest of the village. Was that too much to ask? Naruto began to start breaking down while he was covered in blood. Some Anbu members approached Naruto and quickly knocked him out. Naruto woke up and found himself sitting in the Hokage's office. Two of the Anbu were standing behind Naruto, ready to strike at any moment. Naruto didn't know what was happening at first. When he asked Hiruzen and found out that everything he did wasn't just a bad dream, he froze up. He honestly didn't know how to react at that point. Hiruzen knew Naruto was only a child though, In most circumstances, a person who could do such a thing would be captured and sent to prison. Naruto was a unique case though. He unlocked an ability that was almost unheard of to kill someone with a single touch. The potential of such an ability was terrifying. Naruto could prove to be a massive resource for the Leaf if he learned to control that ability of his. Hiruzen was one of the few who knew about this Kakitara. Not firsthand though. He'd heard stories from the first Hokage about his encounters with one or two throughout his whole entire time as Hokage. It was even rumored that a person wielding this Kakitara killed him. A person with such an ability could serve as a valuable military resource just by themselves, adding the fact they were Jinchuriki and they would be a force to be reckoned with. He had to stop his thinking process for a second though. Naruto was only a child, just barely 6 years old. He wasn't heartless. He even distinctly remembered the note left behind by Minato and Kushina, their dying wish to take care of Naruto for them. The boy did kill two people though, even if it was on accident. He would need to be punished for his actions. He wasn't deep thought before he made a decision. Naruto, I know you didn't mean to kill them, and you're still young, but I'm still going to have to punish you. Normally, he would be sentenced to time in prison, but that's too cruel for a child. Instead, I'm going to keep you under house arrest until you gain better control of that power of yours. Naruto slowly nodded his head. He never said a word. He was simply escorted out of Hiruzen's office and to his apartment by a couple of the Anbu members. He was given a pair of gloves to wear in order to not accidentally activate his Kekitara and destroy everything he touched. Over the course of the next couple of months, all Naruto could do was learn about how to use his Kegitana, eat what was provided to him, study, and work out. He wasn't much as a studying type though. The Anbu watched his every move. They were around his apartment 24/7. He'd be given scrams to test his bloodline ability on, which progressively got bigger. He started off with something as simple as sticks and some junk that no one really cared about. He found that they were easy to destroy, and he only ever felt slightly winded when deconstructing them. An epiphany hit him one day, though. If he could deconstruct things simply by touching them, it should be possible to also reconstruct them, rebuild. It seemed it seemed like a stretch at first, but he tried it out. A couple of failed attempts, sure, but he eventually found out his theory was correct. Or, well, it took more effort, and that was all. He found that he could go even further than deconstructing and rebuilding things, so when the Ambu started giving him more complex builds, he ended up reworking everything about the constructions. He actually merged the objects together, creating something entirely new. The Ambu reported Naruto's latest milestone to the Hokage, who was impressed with Naruto. There wasn't a lot of information about Naruto's Kekitara, so we didn't know the full capabilities of it yet. To hear what Naruto was able to do so far, though, he figured that now would be a good time to release the boy from house arrest. It had been 2 years that Naruto was stuck in confinement. To finally be able to walk the streets of Konoha again felt amazing to the boy. He was still required to wear his gloves though, which he had no problem with. People looked at Naruto a bit strangely though. It had been 2 years since they last saw the troublemaker, and after all, the last time they did see him, he killed two people. One of them being a Jonin. He he ignored the stares though. He wouldn't let them bother him. Not this time. Aruka welcomed Naruto back to the academy and informed them that they would be doing a spy this very day. Naruto Naruto was very interested when he heard this. He would get to test out his strength and show the fruits of his labor. He would be fighting Sasuke Uchiha. The boy with black hair and pale skin glared at Naruto when they were in the ring. Naruto slipped off one of his gloves, which confused some of the kids. What was he trying to do? Sasuke was one of them. He didn't know about what Naruto did 2 years ago. Once Iruka gave permission for them to fight, Sasuke tried to rush Naruto and pin him down quickly, but he wasn't fast enough. Naruto squatted down and slammed his hand on the ground to activate his Kekitara and formed a wall of earth. This surprised everyone in the vicinity. Aruka especially. He wasn't expecting for Naruto to have been able to use Earth style while not even beginning. The little Aruka knew though. Sasuke had to maneuver around the slab of rock, but when he found Naruto, the boy was already one step ahead of him. He jumped Uchiha and tried to pin him to the ground. Sasuke kicked Naruto off of him and tried to get back up. Naruto breathed heavily though. He used a lot of chakra when he made that wall. He had to stick mainly to taijutsu throughout the fight. He wasn't the best at taijutsu. Not at all, but it wasn't like Sasuke was all that great either. At least, that's what Naruto thought. It wasn't that Sasuke was incredibly adept in hand-to-hand combat, but it was that Naruto was just that bad. He was being pushed into a corner. He was getting frustrated. In the spur of the moment, Naruto grabbed Sasuke's arm and blew it up. Sasuke screamed in pain from literally having his arm blown off and turned into chunks. He was bleeding and clutching the stump. When Naruto realized what he'd done, he quickly fixed it. He brought back Sasuke's arm, but the damage was already done. Naruto apologized profusely, but Sasuke kept his distance from him. He never expected for Naruto to have such a destructive power. He hated to admit it, but he was scared of the blonde-haired idiot now. He'd been gone for 2 years, and now he was back at the academy with this strange new power that he knew nothing about. Naruto was someone to be wary of. The other students acknowledged this as well and feared Naruto for what he did. They were too scared to talk or even approach Naruto. They would only ever approach him when they were required to. Naruto was even lonelier than he was before. He was an outcast. No matter what he would do to get their attention, it would never work anymore. Not even a laugh when he failed at doing clone jutsu. When Mizuki approached him about a way to graduate from the academy, he was all ears, partly because someone that wasn't Aruka, the Hokage, or the ramen guy was actually talking to him for once. All he had to do was steal the scroll of sealing without getting caught, and that was exactly what Naruto did. He ended up reading from the scroll while waiting for Mizuki though, and he ended up coming across an interesting jutsu, Shadow Clone Jutsu. By the time Mizuki arrived, Naruto had already mastered the jutsu. He thought he passed, and Mizuki was here to tell him the good news, but to find out that he was set up, destroyed the boy. Mizuki went on a tirade about how Naruto would never amount to anything, and that he was a Jinchuriki at a Nine-Tails Fox. That that was why everybody hated him so much, and that Keri Genkai of his made it even worse. Naruto is even Naruto is angry now. He was enraged to hear all of this from the man, made him realize how much of a fool he was to believe there was a shortcut to becoming a ninja. He hated the fact that he went through all of this trouble for nothing. He wasn't taking it anymore and activated his Shadow Clone Jutsu. Several clones surrounded Mizuki. The man stopped and went quiet when he saw all of the clones the boy created. The the face of the man grew pale as if he had seen a ghost. He cursed himself for his fate. Once all of the shadow clones were done with the barrage of attacks on Mizuki, Naruto removed his glove and walked over to Mizuki. Mizuki's eyes widened in panic at the realization of what Naruto was going to do. No, please, spare me. He didn't even get to finish his sentence when his body parts were sent flying with his blood and organs covering that part of the forest they were in. Aruka saw everything. Naruto didn't graduate right away though. He was given a pardon by Harus, and after Aruka informed him of the events that led up to Naruto taking Mizuki's life, and Naruto officially graduated from the academy. He was officially a Genin, and he was placed in Team 7 with Sasuke and a pink-haired girl named Useless. Oh, sorry, I mean Sakura. The new sensei's name was Kakashi Hatake, and he was late. When he finally did arrive, the first thing he told them was that he didn't like any one of them. Anyways, since we are going to be a team, I suppose it would be good to know your dreams, interests, likes, dislikes, all that good stuff. You go first, Naruto. My dream? It's to become even greater than the Hokage, to become the strongest of all the shinobi, become the become the god of shinobi. That is my dream. And that is how I will be ending off part 1 for right now. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. That's all I have to really say for right now. Tell me what you thought about this what if in the comments below, and Nova Titan out. Oh, and by the way, like that thumbnail wasn't the only edit I did. That wasn't the only thing I did. I also made that banner. Yes, your boy made a banner for his main channel, the collaboration channel, the Heavenly Sages channel, and I even made a banner for Blue Flame What Ifs. I don't know if he's actually put it up yet. Anyways, that's all I have to say. Nova Tying out.